This is the Mazda 6e, Mazda's second EV after the Mazda MX-30. This time round they've got some help with the Chinese in the case of Changan, who have provided the platform, and then Mazda have put their own spin on the vehicle. But today I'm going to find out, is it a true Mazda or is it just another Chinese EV? Firstly, a huge thanks to Mazda UK for having me along at the UK launch of the Mazda 6e. I'm here near Leeds to test it out, which is very exciting. As you can see, we've got the Swiss plates on. I'm not in Switzerland, I'm much closer to home. So this is a left-hand drive car. Basically, this is the European specification vehicles, but the UK is meant to be very similar. Of course, it will be right-hand drive though, which will be great to see, and it will be arriving spring-summer 2026. Starting off with the front of the 6e, I think you'll pretty much agree with me that it's unmistakably Mazda. It looks really great. You've got the winglets, which are signature to Mazda, and you've also got this light up grille section, which does flash as the vehicle charges and then will be solid when it's full, which is quite clever, so it's an interactive element on the vehicle as well. Of course, Mazdas normally have really big grilles, and this is no different. You still have the grille, but it is just a gloss with the little diamond detail. I think it looks really nice and suits the car very well. Mazda badge prouder place there in the middle, and it looks really smart actually. They've not gone over the top and over styled it. You've got front and rear sensors as standard too, which is great to see. This car's got so much standard equipment on it, which is also excellent, which I'll go into a bit more detail with. As you can see, we've got a tiny little Swiss plate as they have there, but a UK plate will fit better on this and hopefully cover this whole black plastic area and not have those sort of tacky plate holder things that most Chinese vehicles have got. As for alloys on the 6e, you essentially get what you're given on both trims. So Takumi and Takumi Plus give these 19-inch diamond cut alloy wheels with the aero design. I think these look fantastic, suit the car well, so there's no need for having any other design, so this is great to see. Also, really nice thing is they are wrapped in Michelin e-primacy tyres, so grip is very good. I've been driving it around, not a massive amount yet today, but it is a bit of a wet, dreary day, and the grip's been very good. It is rear-wheel drive. All Mazda 6es are the rear-wheel drive motor, and it's just that attention to detail when you see a brand put a decent tyre on the vehicle. It's great to see. To the side of the 6e, you can see it is quite an expansive vehicle. It's almost 5 meters long, so they are really going for that executive class of vehicle. Audi A6 e-tron, for example, that sort of size. So it's a big vehicle. It is based, like I say, on the Changan Deepal L07, so there is some familiarities with that car. The doors do have the signature Carcode Japanese Mazda design, so you've got that nice sculpted look, which looks great, especially in the Sol Crystal Red signature metallic paintwork. But there is some things carried over, of course, such as the door handles. The rear of the car, though, is really impressive, and again, it's very Mazda-fied. They've done a good job at the side. It doesn't look unlike a Mazda. I think it's nice. It looks quite different, actually, to the Changan model, which is great, but then these handles still annoy me. There is something that makes me forgive the door handles a bit, and that's the Bluetooth key, that if you're near the car, it just opens and pops the handles out. So it's not such a big deal, which is good, and then you can just grab it. But in general, I'm not really a fan of these flush door handles, to be fair. I know it does aid aerodynamics, but I just prefer a normal handle, especially when Mazda's door handles are so beautiful. I know it sounds so stupid, but they really are. It would have been great to see those added to the vehicle. To the rear of the 6e, Mazda have also really put their stamp on it. You've got the signature round tail lights, which look great, a long tail light bar, and then it kind of widens out at the edges. It's got a little bit of Mazda RX-7 in there. You can kind of see it to harken back to its heritage there. It's got kind of a fishtail design, kind of very smooth and sleek to the rear as well, which looks good. This nice long rear window. That does mean you don't have a rear wiper, unfortunately, but of course they are all heated. It does also have another trick up its sleeve, and that is the retractable spoiler, which comes up at 56 miles an hour. So there you go. You've got a little spoiler, which apparently is meant to increase the downforce a little bit, not making a massive difference. It's more of a style thing and a bit of a quirk. Also, of course, came from the Changan model, so it's just kind of a added inherited feature that they've been given, which, why not? It's a bit of fun, I suppose, and also harking back to more JDM Mazda cars from the past. Not quite as cool as like a proper full-on wing, but it's cool. As for colours on the 6E, Mazda have kept it very classic with their signature paintworks, including this Soul Crystal Red, which does look great on the vehicle. I'm not normally a big red fan, but Mazda always does a great job with their red, and this will be the premium paintwork option. Likely to be standard will be the Crystal White Pearl, which is nice that it's not just a flat white and has a nice sheen to it, which does look really good. Then there's a few different metallic colours available. Again, they're not confirmed for the UK yet, so we don't know exactly what it will be, but these are likely what we're going to see. Jet Black, Deep Crystal Blue, which does look very sleek on the vehicle, Machine Grey, which is that dark grey metallic, Aero Grey, which was new with the MX-5 last year. There's one of these here today and it looks great in the Aero Grey, very light grey, it's very sleek and looks really nice. Polymetal Grey, which is that slaty bluey grey colour that I tested on the CX-30. If you want to watch my video on that car, you can click up there. And last but not least, the Melting Copper, which is listed on the EU site but not on the UK site, so might not be coming to the final car. So plenty of different colours there available on the vehicle. Two colours I would have loved to see though would be the Platinum Quartz and the Zircon Sand that we've seen on recent Mazda models. I think those would really suit the 6E. But like I say, full specs have not been launched for the UK yet, so they could arrive. But let me know, what colour would you pick for the 6E in the comments down below. So on the Mazda 6E, there is both a standard range and a long range model. This is the long range version, and it's got an 80 kilowatt hour NMC battery, whereas the standard range has got a 68.8 kilowatt hour LFP battery. What does that mean? Well, it's slightly different battery technology. They've got the same motor technically, however, this has got a little bit less power than the standard range models. So on this long range model, you've got 241 brake horsepower, 245 PS, and then on the standard range, you've actually got 254 brake horsepower. So you are down on power a little bit. Both cars provide 320 Newton meters of torque, which is good, and 0 to 62 in under 8 seconds. 7.8 in this long range, 7.6 in the standard range car. They're all rear wheel drive as well. There's no option for all wheel drive. And as I say, it's based on the Changan platform. 19-inch wheels, it's got a sporty ride, but not overly firm. Going 50 now, lane assist is very strong as you'd expect from a lot of Chinese vehicles. I've set up the start as my regen on the vehicle. This is high regen now. So I turned off emergency lane keeping assist because it's quite strong. The steering is quite lightweight, so easy to drive around town, things like that. You can actually change the steering should you wish. In driving mode, in individual, you can put your sport power steering on, which apparently it makes it a little bit weightier. We'll have to go out on the faster roads to really see if that is the case. The steering wheel is pretty ergonomic as well compared to other Chinese vehicles like the Xpeng, which I just didn't find comfortable whatsoever. Quite comfortable. These seats are nice. I really like them with the Alcantara and part leather as well. Some firmer bumps can be a bit firm, but honestly the ride's pretty good. It's nice and composed as well. There's not much body roll. I've not gone super fast around the corners, but it's pretty good. Just sort of bumps, you can feel them and hear them, but they don't like shudder through the whole cabin, which is good. It's got a heads-up display, which is really good, and it's got the signature Mazda font, of course. One thing that does feel a bit alien though compared to a normal Mazda would be the digital dials. They just look a little bit strange and do look very Chinese, like what you'd get in an MG or something like that, as does the infotainment screen as well. So maybe they'll do some tweaks to that in the UK, but I doubt it. You can tell that you've got the Chinese car relation there. Acceleration. That's foot to the floor. Whee! That's pretty good. Honestly, quite a nippy feeling car. So this is strong regen. I'll go 60 now, come off. I wouldn't say it's strong, it's more like level 1 or 2 on most cars, not the full like level 3 or full 1 pedal drive. So not especially strong on the vehicle. It is good you've got auto hold though. This 10.2-inch digital dials don't look very Mazda to me. Same with the infotainment screen as well. This 14.6-inch infotainment is standard. Heads-up display though, if you just look at your speed on that, you could be fooled that it's just a normal Mazda, which is nice. It's like very like the CX-80 or something like that. Very clear graphics, and then you can even change the heads-up display to have different information on there. 360 cameras are standard. There's a lot of standard features. So you've got Takumi and Takumi Plus, which this car is. The only thing that Takumi Plus adds is the caramel interior and a roof sunblind. So not much actually. They're very similar. Hi Mazda.
Right here.
Shut the roof blind.
This function does not support voice commands at the moment.
Hi Mazda.
What would you like to do?
Close the roof blind.
This function does not support voice commands at the moment.
I think the voice command is just for air conditioning and stuff like that, and the volume. I normally just use the buttons to do it, but it can be helpful for climate, especially because it is all through the screen on this. However, I did find it quite easy. There's some quite easy shortcuts on there. So about to get onto the faster roads now. 60. The power's really good. On paper, there's a lot of electric vehicles which are much more powerful than this, but this doesn't bother me at all. It's perfectly fine for me. There's a bit of road noise at the higher speeds. The trim though is all quiet. There's no rattles or anything like that. But yeah, refinement at 60 is quite good. You get tyre noise, that's about it really. I don't like the indicators. They're those indicators which are not really a proper indicator stalk. It's got good get up and go. Yeah, the indicators are a little annoying because they're not a real indicator, if you like. Speed bumps in town. It's actually not bad. Like, it deals with these things quite well. It's quite composed and it feels fairly connected to the road. It's not the sportiest car. It's not as nice to drive as the A6 e-tron. However, this will be quite a bit cheaper than that vehicle. The A6 e-tron just feels a little bit more nimble, a little bit more planted than this. This car's not so lightweight either. It's about 1.9 tons, so it's quite a heavy vehicle. You kind of know you've got a heavier car like in the corners. It doesn't wallow too much, but it's not like a little nimble MX-5. Hopefully we will see an electric MX-5 maybe, but it's still great that Mazda's really still focusing on their internal combustion engine vehicles. I think it really just shows that they're committed to kind of making everyone happy. Does that mean they've abandoned their EVs? Kind of, a little bit. They're a little bit behind with the EVs, so this is why this car's a little bit overdue, I suppose. They've only had the MX-30 EV, which had a very little range and was a great car, but just too expensive for such a small range. I did really like that car though. I thought it was so quirky and really cool. It's interesting obviously that it's not a full Mazda in conjunction with Changan. The drive as well doesn't feel especially like a Mazda to drive, but it's fine. It's just quite a nice plain basis, I suppose, for them to base a car on. It's smooth, it rides well. There's nothing offensive about it really. I do wish it had one pedal driving, but it does have your auto hold when you do stop, which is good. Brakes were good then, and they don't make a squeak when you come to a stop, which is good. Unlike a lot of the Volkswagen Group vehicles, which tend to like squeak the brakes kind of when you come to a full stop, which can be quite just kind of unsettling, a bit annoying and just not very nice. So the brakes are much better on this. It's been well configured. There you go. Some bumps like that are a bit harsh, so I'm glad they've not put bigger wheels than 19s on the car. It's not bad though. I think passenger comfort should be good in this car as well. Another really good thing about the 6E is how low you can sit in the car. Look how low I'm sitting now. That's great, and it's something that not all EVs actually offer. So well done to Mazda for that. Changan, I suppose you'd say. So even really tall drivers I think would be quite happy driving this car, which is really good. Acceleration to 60, there we go. That was good. I've got this steering on this sport steering now. Not especially sporty, I wouldn't say. These indicators do really annoy me. They're the same as on the Xpeng, and honestly, why? I just want it to go click and then click off, but it's like, meh. You click down, they don't click themselves off really. They did then, but it's like a weird one. And then you can like lightly tap it, it just does 3. so I guess you could do that, but it's just what was wrong with the normal indicator. Also the gear selector, getting used to these more the Mercedes style stalk gear selectors, but I do definitely prefer a physical selector like what you get on the Audis down here. It's just a lot more user friendly in my opinion. Park is on the end of the stalk, and it flashes and puts the handbrake on, so that's a good feature. As for charging the 6E, the charge flap is at the rear of the vehicle, which I do like, and you've got AC and DC type fast charging. Standard, you do have 11 kilowatt home charging, which is great to see. That means on this long range 80 kilowatt hour model, it takes just under 8 hours to charge, and then on the standard range, just under 7 hours, which is really nice. Battery technology is pretty good, 297 miles the standard range, 343 miles on the long range. Yes, there is cars with longer ranges out there, but that should be pretty decent for most people daily commuting, etc. And what about the interior of the Mazda 6E? Does it feel like a Mazda? In a lot of ways, yes, it does. You've got the signature round center Mazda steering wheel, which does look great. These buttons do look like they're the capacitive ones, but they're not. The proper ones, which is good. You've got the nice stitching inside as well. It's all nicely finished. Lots of this sort of chrome effect, which is very Mazda. Two things that really do kind of give away that it's not based on a Mazda would be the infotainment display and the instrument cluster. You get this 14.6 inch infotainment display as standard, and the 10.2 inch digital dials and the heads-up display. But the only one out of those three that actually feels very Mazda-like is the heads-up display. The other two just feel a little bit generic Chinese. It's great standard equipment on this car. Obviously we don't quite know the prices yet, but we can kind of gauge it off the EU prices that it's going to be about £40,000 to start off with. You've got your different shortcuts down here for climate, things like that, which is easy enough. They could have just felt a bit more Mazda, because I love the Mazda infotainment systems. I think they're really user-friendly, intuitive. I also really like their kind of controller that they use, so they're not all through the touchscreen, whereas this is kind of going to full touchscreen. To be fair, it's not too bad because it is very easy to reach everything. You also have your wireless phone charging pad there, and just a phone holder there, 2 cup holders. Down here, the USB-A and a USB-C, which is really good equipment, and also the 12-volt socket just there on the side, so that's handy. There's your 14.6 inch infotainment screen. If I pop it in reverse, you see the 360 camera does come up. The mirrors dip as well to help you. You can go all around the vehicle. This is my favourite feature of the both sides. So you can see my front wheels turning there. That's really handy, especially if you're going through a tight space. You can also go on the 3D and kind of look around the vehicle. I don't tend to use that one so much. I would normally just leave it on the 2D one, and you can even look at each side of the car if you're struggling to see where your wheel is. Obviously you can just look at the above one as well. It's such a handy feature, really great, and obviously you've got the front and rear sensors as well, so I really like that. This is your heads-up display. This is a great feature on the vehicle. It says I'm in reverse because I am. Put it in park. You can see the handbrakes on there as well. If I was to put it in drive and just move forward a little tiny bit, it tells you the speed. Auto hold turns on when you have your seatbelt on. So if I move forward now and stop there, the auto hold lights up in green, which is really good, easy enough. Down here is your 10.2 inch digital dials. As I say, they don't feel very Mazda to me, which is a bit of a shame. I do wish that they were just a little bit more analog looking, a little bit more familiar, because it's quite a big screen, but the font and the information is very small. So like the 20 limit sign is tiny and the auto hold sign is tiny. So I wish that was just a little bit better, but it's not a major deal as you've got the heads-up display as standard, which is actually a really decent one. So I really like that. Also, if you do indicate, it also comes up on there, and you also have your little camera that comes up as well to show you where you are on the right. It does come up on the screen, but it comes up very close to the side of you, so it is still quite handy, but it is better on the Kia Group vehicles when they have the picture in the actual dials rather than on the screen. So we're in the Takumi Plus model. As standard, the 6E is packed with equipment. You've got 360 cameras, a sunroof, heads-up display, digital dials, wireless phone charging, front and rear sensors, adaptive cruise control, electric seats, a lot of features. You get the idea. However, Takumi Plus adds this caramel, more premium interior with Alcantara and leatherette. It is lovely, very comfortable too. Also added on Takumi Plus is the roof blind, which I'll show you now. Here we go, closed sunshade. just in the middle and then goes across, and then you can open the sunshade. Of course, it is a fixed glass roof, so it doesn't actually open, but it is nice because it makes it nice and bright and air in here. So I normally just leave it open. The standard seats though on the Takumi, you have them in black synthetic leather. This is the Takumi with the black interior. Again, very soft. I quite like this contrast stitching as well, which was nice. Guessing this will probably be the most popular interior option on the vehicle. Full black throughout. Well, this white stitching does just brighten it up a little bit. That looks really nice. And again, you've got the fixed glass roof, but without the roof blind, because it's not the Takumi Plus model. But loads of equipment still. You've still got the electric seats, still got the Sony sound system, 360 cameras, wireless charging, etc. It's just those two differences with the interior and the roof blind. Or you can have the light synthetic leather, and this is the lighter colour. Does look quite nice, feels nice and quality. Whether that comes to the UK, I'm not too sure yet. Of course, the UK specs aren't confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just the black though on Takumi and then this tan on the Takumi Plus. But this tan, really nice. It's like black and tan, like a dachshund. Fun fact, I'm named after a dachshund. There you go. On paper, the boot space doesn't sound so impressive. 336 litres up to the parcel shelf and 466 litres without the parcel shelf. But in reality, it's big. I'd say this looks like a 450, 500 litre boot easily. Not sure about that. It's a bit ambiguous what the actual size of the boot is, but when the UK specs come out, that will be confirmed for our spec. I like this rubber liner. That would be an accessory. That's quite nice. You've got your subwoofer for the Sony premium sound system back here as well. It is electric, the tailgate as well as standard, which is nice. There's a lot of standard features, as I say. Here you've got your one triangle and the tyre inflation kit, and not really any storage, I'd say, and also your towing eye just there. It does go back quite deep, the boot though, which is good. If we take that down. So it's quite narrow at the top, but wider at the bottom of the boot. So it's not the most practical, but although it looks like a saloon sort of vehicle, it does have that fastback hatchback opening. So it is practical for families, etc. Let's check out what it's like with the seat strap though. As you can see, with the seats folded down, slopes up a bit, it won't be the most practical kind of segment. If you wanted something more practical, you'd go for probably an SUV, something like that would give you more space. I don't think it's too much of a squeeze for 2 adults and 2 kids, and the luggage should be enough for everyone. And how about the rear space in this 6e? Well, you still have these lovely materials throughout, which is great, and something that we see a lot from Mazda. So still soft touch materials all on the door cards. This lovely Alcantara, even the speakers have got the nice caramel covers. I like that you've got light in the rear as well. That's nice. You've got this armrest. You don't have a tag for it, which would be nice, but good quality. And then you've got your cup holders down there as well. Nice and cushioned, so that is great to see. Isofix points, unfortunately, they are those ones that detach, which is a bit annoying. You do have Isofix on the passenger seat, which is great on the front seat. You've also got your climate control in the rear of the car, which is great, and you can also control the blind from back here. Like so. It would be nice if you could just control one end of it, but it doesn't seem like you can. You know, if you could just have this one open and that one closed, or vice versa, but I don't think you can do that. You can move the front passenger seat as well, should you wish, from here, maybe just to give yourself a bit more leg room. You have one USB-C charger here, and then you've got a pocket on the back of both seats, because sometimes Mazda just put it on the back of one. You don't have heated rear seats. You will notice the Sony sound system, 14 speaker Sony sound system, is standard equipment, which is great. As you can see as well, the floor is completely flat. So how is the middle seat? The back is a little bit firm, but not so bad. I've been in a lot worse, so that's okay. But again, it's only really for short journeys, really. In the middle seat, loads of headroom, legroom's good as well. I'm about 5'8". I've got loads of leg room. This is my seating position. Of course, it's a long car, so you would expect that, wouldn't you? There isn't any sort of recline with the back seats, but they are in a good position. Headrests, they are a little bit hard, so they could have been a bit nicer, because the ones in the front are quite nice and squishy. Another nice practicality feature on the 6e is the fruit front boot, whatever you want to call it. 72 litres of space, perfect for your charging cables, so you don't have to keep them in the boot or have them under the boot floor where they get buried. Not very practical. This is basically now a dedicated space for your charging cable. You can also get this accessory little insert, very nicely fits perfectly in the vehicle, so another Mazda touch to the car. We've also got your washer fluid just there, and then I'm guessing that is your fuse box access just there. So looks nice, it's nicely packaged away, and it's good and you don't have all the gubbins. And of course the bonnet is on hydraulics, making it easy to access. So then, the Mazda 6e, what do I think? Well, I think it's quite a nice car. Executive, it certainly looks the part, and inside's quite nice too. This Takumi Plus specification with the tan interior, caramel as they call it, is really nice as well, and it drives generally pretty good. There are certain things that make you know that it's not a ground up Mazda, especially the infotainment and a little bit how it drives as well. It's a bit more generic, but that's kind of expected from an EV, and I think this is a pretty good attempt. I also really like that Mazda have done a good job at putting their own identity into the vehicle rather than just slapping their own badge on. They have made a really thoughtful design, especially at the exterior of the car. So I'm looking forward to seeing when it arrives next year, and hopefully it'll be an affordable car for leasing, etc. and quite a nice step forward for Mazda, because of course they're focusing on petrol, but now also great that they've got a longer range, more competitive electric vehicle in the range. Thanks again to Mazda UK for having me along at the launch of the Mazda 6e. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.